He offered it to me. He's like, hey, you want some? And I was like, no. Hi, it's me, Brooklyn, and today is another story time. And today, specifically, I'm going to be talking about the worst gig I ever did. For those of you that don't know, I play guitar, and that's, well, what I did. I played guitar and I sang. Now, if you're wondering why on earth I have a beanie on my head and my hair is also in braids, I was dumb and I ran out of my good shampoo, so I used some baby shampoo and it destroyed my hair, so I'm currently, fixing my hair. How lovely is that? Anyway, okay, so this gig. This happened about 2 years ago. Back when I was in college. Anyway, there was this guy that I was friends with. I'm gonna call him... Let's just call him Todd. That's a very generic name. Let's do that. Todd. His name is Todd. Anyway, so Todd and me met at a talent show at the beginning of the year. He thought I had a pretty voice and whatever, and later on he invited me to a gig, to be part of this gig, which was off campus, so I needed a ride to get there. So he offered to drive me, which was fine. I knew him for a long time. I knew him for a while, so I was like, I could trust him. So he drives me. Oh my gosh. Guy drives the most janketiest looking car. I was surprised it was still holding up. Like, I thought that thing was going to fall apart. Anyway, so we get there. It's at this park. This gig was talked up really well, okay? So he's like, yeah, it's gonna be like a couple of different like musicians and bands, and like we invited a whole bunch of people, and it's gonna be really, really cool. And I was like, all right, this will be neat. And I even invited some people. They didn't come, and I'm actually happy they didn't. So it was at this little park, and when I get there, it's this little shelter. It looks really jankety, and it's super cold out, like. So, and I already wore layers, but I was still, like, freezing my little butt off. And there was, like, nobody there. And the people that showed up, there was, like, at most 10 people that just came to watch. And then everybody else was just people that were playing. And, oh my gosh, a lot of the people there were so sketchy. Oh my god. But anyway, when we get there, Todd tells me that he will be right back. That he is going to go get some... I'm gonna call it giggle juice so YouTube doesn't flag me. Yeah. So he went to go get that, and then he came back, like, I'm gonna say about an hour later. I was literally starting to think he just left me there. Anyway, so I was just chilling, looking over the songs I wrote, because I was going to play a couple songs that I wrote, and just, you know, play my guitar and sing. And I was, oh my god, I cannot breathe. Hold on a second. I have a deviated septum, so I have trouble breathing. Okay, I'm good now. So he gets back from getting the giggle juice, and, like, I don't know. He just starts drinking already, like, as soon as he gets it. And I'm, like, just there thinking, this guy is my ride. And he's drinking giggle juice. Like, no, I did not feel safe getting in a car with him. But anyway, the gig continues on. I go, I sing my songs or whatever. They like it. Whoop-de-doo. And I did get along with 2 people at that gig. Only 2. And they weren't the person I came with either. They were these 2 guys that both played guitar and sang, and they were really chill and seemed very mature. I talked to them and I hung out with them. But eventually they left because they got super cold and they were just like, I played my stuff, I'm gonna go home now. Then also one of them had to bandage his hand because it was so cold that his hand started bleeding as he was playing guitar. So yeah, he had to go. And the minute they left, I was like, oh god, why? Because I was like, nope, nope, nope. And then the sketchiest dude. Oh my god. Sat right next to me, is like, hey, how you doing? And he was like being really flirty towards me. I'm like, great. And this guy was so skeezy, I swear. Oh my gosh. And then he offers me, he's like doing this motion, this thing. I have a makeup brush here. Pretend this is something else. You have one of these, but it wasn't like, your typical no-no stick. It was a really bad no-no stick. And he offered it to me. He's like, hey, you want some? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh, come on. It's not a big deal. It's just fun. Everybody does it. And I'm like, no, leave me alone. You can't get me to do it. I don't care how hard you try. The more you try, the more and more I'm going to be mean and mean and mean. And I'm not going to care if you cry. Then he proceeded to call me the word that rhymes with which but starts with a B. Yes. And he's like, wow, you're just like no fun. And then eventually he went away. And Todd went to the store again, like right before this. So he was gone. And I was like, great, I am stuck here. There's this skeezy guy. The two people that were mentally stable left. So I was just there being like, I feel like I'm gonna die. Because, a lot of people were drinking, and that one dude was doing some bad. Well, he had his little no-no stick and was trying to offer it to everybody, specifically the girls. So just think about that for a minute. That's bad. It still grosses me out to this day. That guy was nasty. So I was desperate. I needed to get out of there. So I called my guy friend. Let's call him Sean. There we go. That's a perfect name. Anyway, so I called Sean and I was like, dude, you gotta get me out of here. I explained the situation. He's like, oh my God. Oh no. So Sean shows up driving his little minivan with his girlfriend. But they had trouble finding the park I was at. But they found the zoo that was close to that park. It's a closed down zoo. There was like nothing going on. So I had to walk from the park all the way to the zoo, and I was carrying what was I carrying? I was carrying my music stand, I was carrying my guitar and my large guitar book, along with the regular bag I had, which had my pepper spray and everything, because that's probably the one thing I would have needed there, because sketchy people galore. So I eventually get over there. Oh my gosh, it was so heavy. I couldn't feel my fingers or my feet. I was numb. It got to a point where my eyes were starting to get very watery because I was so cold. So like my vision was even blurring. But then I see Jean open up that minivan and walk towards me. I thought I was gonna cry because I was like, my savior, Sean. So I was like, yes! So I got in there, and then they took me back to my apartment. I thanked them. I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I explained the situation to them again, and they're like, oh my God, that was so sketchy. I can't believe you were there. I was like, me too. And then I proceeded to block Todd after that, because Todd hangs around some sketchy people. Also, he was totally okay with drinking giggle juice and driving at the same time. Which is illegal and dangerous and not for me. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention this earlier, but I didn't drink or do any of the crazy stuff there. I drank my water bottle. I don't do any of that. So yeah, then I got back to my apartment in college, and I literally looked miserable. My roommates were like, oh my God, what happened? And I explained it all to them, and they're like, oh my God. I was like, yeah. So then I took all my blankets on my bed, and I just got in bed, and I just covered myself, and I just sat there and I shivered, and they cranked up the heat, and I had to try and, get all the circulation back into my hands and feet because I was so cold I thought I was gonna pass out. What is the moral of this story? I don't know what the moral of this story is, other than the fact that past me was really, really dumb. And even though this only happened a couple years ago, it feels like it happened 100 years ago, because, geez, I have learned so much and been through so much trash. Gosh, I was so dumb. Anyway, please like and subscribe for more. I post story times, vlogs, skits, and you heard it in this video, I do randomly sing in them. And we can all continue to laugh at past Brooklyn together, because she was a dumb. Yeah. Also, I recently joined a rock band, so I'm going to be singing over on my TikTok a lot. Woo! And that is in the description below. And also, if you want to see my crazy special effects makeup when I first post them, that'll be over on my Instagram. The last one I did was the zombie elf of 2020, and it looks sick. By the way, I wasn't eating a real eyeball. That's a prop. Anyway, bye! Biscuits and gravy. Oh my god, that sounds so good. I want that food right now. That food sounds fresh.